Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about calorie cycling. What is it? Why might you want to use it? And if you do decide that you would like to use it, how will you set it up? Very simply put, calorie cycling is having periods of times where you eat more calories and periods of time where you eat fewer calories. The way I structure calorie cycling with my clients is that we have some days of the week where they're eating more calories and some days of the week where they're eating fewer calories. So let me show you an easy example. And any numbers you see me putting up here are literally just examples. It's not saying, hey, this is the right calorie count for any particular person. It's just going to be for example's sake. So let's talk about the difference between a straight deficit and calorie cycling. So in a straight deficit, a person would eat the same number of calories every single day of the week. 1,800 calories every day of the week, okay? That's a straight deficit. With calorie cycling, you take the same total number of calories and divide it up throughout the week. So let's see, maybe you'd have 1,650 calories on Monday and Wednesday and Friday and Sunday. And I'll talk to you in a minute about how do we set those days up and how do we choose the days we use. And then other days of the week, the other 3 days of the week, maybe you'd have 2,000 calories. So if you can see that, 1,650 calories, 2,000, 1,650, 2,000, 1,650, 2,000, 1,650. So different calories throughout the week. Some days are higher calories, some days are lower calories. That is calorie cycling. So what would be the benefit of calorie cycling? The main benefit is that it helps you adhere more to your calorie deficit. And we know that adherence is the main factor in whether you're going to make progress or not. This isn't something that works necessarily better than having a straight deficit. I do have clients who prefer to have the same number of calories across the week. They just think it's easier for them to manage mentally, and it works great for them because it helps them adhere. The idea is that on the days where you have more calories, it is easier to fit in things like going out to a restaurant, having a drink, having a piece of cake. And so it gives you some more wiggle room on certain days of the week. Now, obviously those calories need to come from somewhere, which is why you then have the lower calorie days. So if this sounds like something that you want to try, let's talk about how you can set it up. One of the big points that I want you to notice, actually, let me tell you a little side note about these numbers because I think it's important to notice this. These are all just single numbers, right? 1,800 calories, 2,000 calories. I actually don't set up any of my clients' numbers like this because it can be really hard. It's actually almost impossible to hit a certain number right on the nose every day. To make it so that you're always successful, I like to give my clients calorie ranges. So it would be 18 to 1,900 or 19 to 2,000 or 1,650 to 1,750. I do work in ranges. Second point, I'm not going to talk today about how to figure out your calorie deficit. I have a very in-depth entire video about how to set up your calorie deficit. And I touch on calorie cycling there. I don't go into depth on that video. I'm going to link it here so you can figure out how do I even get a handle on how many calories I need. You can watch that video and then come back here and actually put into practice how to do the cycling versus just a straight deficit. Now, what I want you to notice here is the math. If we add up the calories from each of these 17 days on a straight deficit of 1,800 every day, it comes out to 12,600 calories. That's the total calories at the end of the week. If we add up these calories, it still comes out to 12,600 calories, okay? And that's a really important point. So 12,600 calories is your total calories at the end of the straight deficit week. Same exact number of calories here. So in the end, you end up with the same number of calories. And that is a very important point because we're trying to hit the calorie deficit. You can see here, I've spread the lower days throughout the week. It's important to know it doesn't matter how you choose. So there's no right way to select which days will be your higher days versus which days will be your lower days. In the end, you want to have the same number of calories that you would have on a straight deficit. So if for you, you want to have 5 days of lower calorie days and 2 days with a little more substantial higher calories, you could do that. I typically use this 4-3 calorie split with my clients. So 4 lower days, 3 higher days. So when do you need to take your higher days and when do you need to take your lower days? It's up to you. More of my clients than not choose to take their higher days on the weekends. They base it on their social life. I do have other clients who prefer taking their higher calorie days in line with their training days. when they have heavy strength training, they want to have more calories. Or if they're runners on their long run days, they want to have higher calories. So that is another way you can structure it. The guiding principle I use is I like my clients to decide these things ahead of time. This isn't like oh, whoops, I went over my low calories today. It's gonna be a high calorie day. Though that can help sometimes. You can definitely use it that way. It's not the way I suggest you set out to use it. And so what I suggest you do is at the start of each week, so on a Sunday, you look ahead at your week and decide what will be my high calorie days this week. If you have a schedule that is very consistent week to week, you can just set your schedule for your calories, for your calorie cycling, and leave it like that. If you have a schedule that varies a lot, every Sunday, look ahead to your week and choose. This is my higher day, this is my higher day, that is my higher day. So you know going into it what those days will be. And that really is all there is to calorie cycling. It's nothing confusing. It's simply a structure where you have higher calories some days and lower calories on other days. The important point is at the end of the week, your total calories need to be the same as if you were doing that straight deficit. You will judge whether you are in a calorie deficit based on results, whether you're using a straight deficit or calorie cycling. You will know if it's working if you are in fact losing fat. The scale's going down, inches are going down, clothes are fitting better. And so that will be your guide. Choose what works for you. With any of these kind of decisions, you need to give it time to see if it works for you. So don't do this for a few days and decide like, oh, this is definitely not for me, or it is for me. Do it for a dedicated period of time. I suggest 3 or 4 weeks, see how it goes, make changes after that. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I hope this helped to take some of the mystery out of calorie cycling for you. I know it sounds very complicated just hearing the term, and in fact it is not. It is very straightforward and simple. I do think it is a powerful strategy to help you adhere to your calories. Give it a try. Remember, with anything that you're doing with your nutrition, you want to give it a chance to really see if it works for you. Pick a period of time, I suggest at least 3 or 4 weeks, that you actually do this, try calorie cycling, and then decide whether it's working for you or whether it's not. If it doesn't feel like a good fit, if you just don't like it, if it feels like I don't like to keep different numbers in your head, maybe a straight deficit is better for you. Of course, remember, how do you know if you're even in a deficit? Whether you're using straight deficit or calorie cycling. You know if you're in a calorie deficit if you are losing fat. So the scale is going down, your measurements are getting smaller, your clothes are fitting better, you're looking visibly leaner. That's how you'll know if a deficit is working for you. It's really important to keep that in mind. So that wraps it up for this week. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch you next week.